we wanted to take a minute to really show everybody the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Series 2 Bebop Ultimates figure, because this is the first time, Brian, that I'm seeing these guys in person, and I am just completely taken aback in the best way possible with just how massive Bebop is to be in scale with the rest of the line.
Well, yeah, exactly. Like, you know, the turtles barely come up to his shoulder, so
Yeah.
he's got to be huge. So as you can see, he's massive.
Yeah.
And, you know, he comes with a ton of accessories. We're actually going to do 2 heads on him. We're going to do the pink toy head plus the brown head.
Awesome.
So he'll have both, depending on what you
Two heads,
want.
that's new news for Toy Fair. Okay,
Exactly.
that's cool.
And just, you know, trying to make it
he
cool.
He pushes the lines of like almost 8 inches more than even 7, right?
He's huge.
Yeah.
He's huge.
So if we're thinking like about 6.5-inch scale turtles,
Yeah,
then these guys go with them to kind of show the.
I mean, that's your proportional scale.
Okay, people, welcome back to another Fwoosh Weekly. As always, I'm Robo, and you sick of looking at this yet? I've probably been on camera more in the past week than any other week of my life. And you know what? It's been awesome. Toy Fair is done. It's over. We can stop talking about it, and we can stop talking about the lead up to it. But I'm gonna miss it. It's not just about going to see toys, although, it's also talking to company reps and people who work in the industry. And it's also going out and, you know, catching up with friends that I've made on this crazy journey. The whole thing is just an experience. And let's do some news, and then I'll talk about my attitude, my thoughts coming out of Toy Fair. I'll admit, I've never had an actual Transformers Skylynx in my hands, in my collection, in my toy room, even as a child. So seeing it this weekend in person, and then new promotional shots that showed up after I got back, makes it even more alluring. I mean, it's just a crazy concept. I actually don't know what to make of it. It's a pterodactyl chicken of some kind alongside an actual lynx or a dragon, a launch pad with a spacecraft. I kind of love how it is unapologetically just the nose of a shuttle, but it's the head with a mouth and sharp teeth. The Transformers War for Cybertron Earthrise Commander Class Skylynx is up for pre-order right now on Dorkside Toys. $80, expected to ship in August. Now, of course, the Marvel Legends that were revealed last weekend, we got the initial promotional images. We looked at those, was it day 1 of our Toy Fair coverage? But then this week, retailers received more pictures of the cardbacks and then glamour shots. For the Hasbro Marvel Legends Age of Apocalypse wave, I will admit I strayed away from comics before this event actually happened, but I have the basics of it, I think. Dark Beast probably shouldn't appeal to me as much as it does, but man, the animalistic feel that it brings to the original Beast body we already have, The fangs are killer, and the overblown hair, it just brings a whole new element to it. It makes it look different from the one we have. Jean Grey is a nifty design. I mean, it's not my favorite version of Jean. There's many more, but that may be because I'm not huge into Age of Apocalypse, but she's definitely needed if you are a fan of this event. The same goes for Weapon X, which honestly may have been one of my preferred figures of Wolverine from the Toy Biz days. I just wonder if that old variant burnt face from that figure will fit here. X-Man, for some reason, skews right into Robo Don't Know land. I know the character, but I honestly don't think I've ever read anything with him in it. I've seen the covers, and I know kind of the story, but I'm also not a fan of the very short jackets. I don't know why. Wild Child is a case where you can take the figure and put it in several different parts of your display, even if you don't have an affinity for the alternate Apocalypse reality. He's been in different timelines, different teams, and I think even he's about to be in this exact same costume in a different comic. What was that? And did I just pop my wrist? What the hell? I'm getting old. Same goes for Sunfire, because I think I remember him adopting this look when he became a horseman in the main universe. I'll always love the original red and white, but this is a worthy modernization, or, well, throwback. However you want to look at that. But Morph is the biggie, at least for me, because, Exiles was near and dear, and with Blink, this team is coming along in usual Hasbro fashion, slowly. I'm not sure about the paint they've added for the eyebrow raise because it doesn't actually follow the eyebrow, but it's just a white head. I should be able to fix that easily if need be, you know? And then Sugarman, I think he actually crossed over into the main Marvel universe. And well, in fact, wasn't it him, Nate, Wildchild, and someone else? I seem to remember the number 4 for crossovers from Age of Apocalypse into the 616. But there is no way I can pass up the wackiest action figure I've seen in a little while. I mean, if you look at the package shot, it's almost like you're buying a Sugarman head/torso, however that works, along with a little Jean Grey pack-in. For the Marvel Legends Avengers Abomination wave, almost half the wave is Gamerverse, based on the Avengers video game coming to PlayStation and Xbox. Captain America has a very tactical feel to him. In fact, it's kind of the vibe I get from what we saw of US Agent from the Falcon and Winter Soldier series. But on top of that, seeing the gear and everything on it, it reminds me of the new G.I.Joe figures, so I may try to fit that over there, depending on scale and size and how all that works. Gamerverse Iron Man isn't too drastic a change. I mean, it's Stark, it's armor, it's red, it's gold, it's repulsors. All the elements you need for a good Iron Man design. And then there is Ms. Marvel, mostly reuse. Hell, on my drive up to Kansas City to fly to New York, I stopped at a Walmart and there was still a Ms. Marvel on the pegs. But besides the photoreal face, which does make it look better, she also gets new boots that they said they can reuse on future figures. Flipping to the comic book side of things, how perfect is this leader? He just oozes cockiness. In fact, you look at it and you just want to slap the crap out of him. But why does this make me need a wizard? With all this Fantastic Four stuff coming, is it time for the Frightful Four? Am I just drifting off subject just because I see something else I want? I'm a dog chasing cars. Marvel has been much needed for a long, long time, and it's good to see him finally get his due, but there's something off the hair, right? I mean, I want to take this and replace my Toy Biz version, but even though he's always had, well, at least in the comics, he's always had the curls and the flow and everything, this seems a little too up and too out. There's just something going on. Plus the eyes look triangular and I don't know. I'll have to see this one in person. I saw it in person, but I need to see it. I need to hold it. I need to feel it. I was out of the New Warriors before Rage showed up in the comics, but he looks like a good big bruiser type, and if it's another step to more New Warriors, yeah, please. Remember way back when I was talking about the Exiles and absolutely loving that team? Take all that, and you can apply that to the Thunderbolts too. I remember reading that first issue and not being spoiled because internet, what the hell's the internet? And it totally blew my mind when I got to the end. It gave me a whole new perspective on what we could get with stories from the villain's point of view. That's probably why I like Secret Six so much. But again, that's a conversation for another day. Mach 1 continues to build another team slowly but surely, and hey, I'm along for the ride. Give me more. But when it comes to Abomination, I'm kind of on the fence. I mean, I like what they've done here. They've made him a bit asymmetrical. His name's Abomination. Throw some claws in there, throw some extra design and weirdness, and I'm completely good. But for some reason, my brain is locked into thinking he always needs those fin ears. Don't get me wrong, the build figure we already have, it may have fin ears, but I don't like the body there. It's short, it's stubby, the legs look weird, it's out of proportion, and I was talking shit about it on the plane to New York and then saw this. So, I like the proportions here. He's bigger, he's bulkier. I may find a different head or something, or try to mix and match. I don't know, but that's the fun of it, right? I mean, getting some toys and seeing what you can do. Also, retailers got new shots of the Hasbro Ghostbusters Plasma series. Now, I've talked about this several times in the past week, but this will actually be my first set of Ghostbusters that I want to put on my shelf. For whatever reason, I never bought any of the previous versions. But call it fate, call it luck, call it karma. I believe everything happens for a reason. And that reason was me waiting for Hasbro to give me kick-ass Ghostbusters action figures. Consider me happy. I still can't believe they put the whole dang team into the first series, along with pretty much the essential villains. You have Dana, who is Zool at this point, and then you have Gozer, of course. I'd like a Lewis and a Peck and some of the ghosts, but if this series suddenly ended, I'd be kind of happy with this wave alone. Not even to mention the Build-A-Figure Terror Dog, so I mean, there you go. But I'm sure they'll keep on killing it after the first wave, probably moving into other movies or the new movie, of course. Removable packs, individual accessories for each figure, very good likenesses. I mean, again, this is what I was waiting for. Hell, Dana and Gozer actually look a bit scary, unnerving if you stare at it like they're looking at you from the pictures. I mean, look, the paint work, the sculpt work is just amazingly awesome. I had to do it. Finally, Ghostbusters in the display. That's the biggie. And Hasbro being Hasbro, loving the pictures. They also sent retailers new images of their G.I. Joe classified series, at least the ones they revealed this weekend. I really don't know what more I can say that I haven't said in several videos on here and podcasts and collaborations. I'm really interested in the engineering here, and the figures look good, but they may be a little bit over-designed. It may have too much paint, which is a mind-blowing thing to even talk about. Basically, they look like kick-ass action figures that are not quite as G.I. Joe as I was hoping they'd be. Seeing them in person did help, and now seeing these pretty promotional shots where they're kind of shaded in more natural lighting, that does help a little bit more too. You may not like them, I know some people don't, but stop and think before you go down and comment about how I shouldn't like them, even though I've given my reasons several times. If absolutely nothing else, they will make excellent custom fodder, or you can use them as generic soldiers or adventurers. Good toys are good toys, and it may not live up to the standards that you wanted in a certain property, but toys? The G.I. Joe figures, the Ghostbusters, the Marvel Legends, they're all up for pre-order on Dorkside Toys right now. I've avoided getting any of the Good Smile Company Table Museum series figures, but I admire them from afar. They are quite nifty. The Moai is actually the first in a new series of Table Museum called Annex, which is different from the usual Table Museum series somehow. I'm not quite sure. Maybe because they refer to the previous series as works of art? Well, no, actually, the description says, from the Table Museum series of Figma figures based on famous works of art, comes the Table Museum Annex series of Figma figures based on art from around the world. Either way, Easter Island, Moai, the bodies that are buried beneath it, a hat that comes on some of them, and then even a piece so you can display the head as a bust. The price is $42. Wait, is that right for an import? Well, it is 5.5 inches, and this is supposed to come out in December. I somehow missed the painted prototype of the Good Smile Company Figma My Hero Academia Todoroki that appeared right after the unpainted prototype was revealed at Winter Wonder Festival a couple of weeks ago. I gotta admit though, it looks badass. It looks even better in color. I love me some grayscale action figure, but throw some paint on it that looks good. Like most of the other students that Figma has shown, the facial features kind of disappear into the skin tone. But man, the sculpt, the paint, it absolutely nails the character. I'm interested in seeing what the quirk effects look like here because, oh man, fire, ice. Because the Figma My Hero Academia Uraraka went up for solicitation this week, and she has some accessories. Ooh. I was afraid that they'd go at their usual snail's pace that they do with releases, but seeing Ochaka already up gives me a little bit more faith that we'll see other students soon. She comes with 3 facial expressions and a helmet with a transparent piece that either snaps on or it's, I don't know how that works yet. But then she comes with a couple of rocks and an extra clear piece to hold them up in the air to represent her gravity quirk. Figma nailed Uravity's likeness and the pinks are beautiful, but I can't help but notice that she's missing ankle articulation. I also saw this on the McFarlane version too, and I understand not wanting to break that up. In fact, probably the shape of the boot makes cuts there really super ugly. So I like that it keeps its sleek look, but I hate that it loses functionality. But she'll probably be floating most of the time in a display because that's her power. So disregard, there you go. $63 releases in August. The Hasbro Star Wars Black Series Gamer Greats Force Unleashed Stormtrooper Commander. It's been hinted at for a while, but this week it just decided to drop into EB Games in Canada. Thanks to Michael Kasabowski on Instagram, we get our first good look at this trooper, and dang it, I love my troopers, and I'll take them in any flavor they want to give them to me. It's been a long time since I've played Force Unleashed, so I don't actually remember this, but man, I love the raggedness of it, and they bring in some asymmetry design, which always makes things interesting. We seem to be seeing a lot of that lately, huh? This guy's been in the mud and the blood and the blasters. He's seen some shit. Yeah, it's just a basic Black Series Stormtrooper, but with the dirtiness and the blue, it just makes it cool to look at. He can hang with my Walmart Shock Trooper for sure. I mean, they would look awesome. I need it! But why wouldn't Hasbro announce this last weekend at Toy Fair? I mean, it was already on the water. It's already getting out there. Why wouldn't they say anything about it? It's kind of screwy. Maybe because it's exclusive to GameStop and they don't need to sell it to buy. Well, they were showing Walmart and Walgreens and Target. Why not GameStop? And that's it for this week. If I missed anything, I'll swing back around in the next episode. If you want to see these pictures, or well, there's more pictures, especially of the Marvel Legends stuff, and well, all the Hasbro stuff really. If you want to see closer pictures of those will be posted on the Fwoosh front page tomorrow, Saturday at noon. And like I said, Toy Fair's over. A couple of general thoughts coming out of the show. Even though almost every passing minute is spent either looking at or talking about, discussing, posting about, making videos of toys themselves, I always come out of Toy Fair reinvigorated. I'm ready to play. Maybe it's being around like-minded people for so long, other toy sites, other YouTubers, other collectors on the streets, the company reps, the line managers, that just all the way around, just sharing passion. It's always sad to leave because I know it'll be some months before we get to San Diego and get to do it all again. But besides wanting to play with more plastic, and there's quite a bit of plastic here to play with, I came out of the show with two prevalent thoughts. One, I'm gonna have to get more methodical with what I buy. You guys know me, I see a shiny new toy and I've got to give it a test drive. This year finally convinced me that there is way too much to buy. Way too much. And that breaks my heart. It really does. And it's not just a money thing, it's a space thing. I buy stuff and then it goes in a tub or it gets stacked up, or I haven't even opened some of this stuff yet. Yeah, there may be some stuff going on and I need to address those issues. Don't get me wrong, I'm going to keep on talking about toys. It's free to look at pictures online and information, but ooh, I gotta quit buying as much as I do after just having talked about Abomination and maybe switching parts. So yeah, baby steps. And number two, which is kind of a pipe dream, but I wish every collector had a chance to go to shows like this and meet the people that make their toys. At shows like this, you're running, you're hustling and bustling, you're around guys that are there for the same reason, so you don't have a lot of time to get online and see some of the negativity that is just so goddamn draining. That's probably my biggest energizer of all, feeding off everybody there. Just, toys all over, yes! And at this point, most of the company people I talk to, they just want to make cool toys, and they're doing their damnedest to do that. But they also have bosses and budgets they have to work in. They may have problems at the factory. They may fight with licensors on what they actually can make. Things that may throw wrenches in the works, may mess up the most well-laid of plans. Things they can't talk about in public because they'd like to keep their jobs or the licenses they do have. They don't want to piss anybody off. Most are walking a very thin line between keeping the company and the fans happy. I always laugh when I see people say, I could do it better. You probably couldn't. Hell, I know I couldn't. I do not envy these guys at all, but I damn sure respect them. Don't get me wrong, you'll run into companies where they're just the company spiel and they don't really know anything further than what's right there on the placard. But most of the time, you're running into passionate people. They're just trying to do the best job they can within the parameters they've been allowed. And I'll get comments of how I'm blowing smoke up your ass or kissing companies' asses, but that all goes back to wishing every collector could just spend a couple of minutes with the people who make the stuff they collect. And I'm not talking live stream or interviews, I'm talking face-to-face, in person. It just, to get that general feel of, hey, you're one of us too. I think some would see the hobby in a new light and realize that the more positive energy you put in, the more positive energy you're gonna get out. I've been accused of being too upbeat or forgiving in some of my reviews, but that's what I'm trying to get out of this. I'm trying to enjoy my hobby because at the age I am now, I'm too old to be raging against machines and little problems and sculpt and paint unless the plaything absolutely deserves it. I've had that a couple of times. It all falls down to if it ain't fun, it ain't worth doing. I wish I could convey this better. It's an amazing feeling to come out of a show like this. So, we're gonna end it there. I've rambled enough. Meh. If you enjoyed this weekly, comment, like, subscribe, or whatever the platform you're watching this on allows. Much love to the Plus. If you're interested in seeing videos early or in a position to help out the channel, patreon.com. Dorkside Toys will be sponsoring a weekly giveaway coming soon, so look into that. But wherever you may be, I'll always catch you on the Fwoosh.